there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. Climb out of a hole. Climb out of a hole. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, and I've talked about something similar to this, but you know, after a while, I'm gonna just be giving y'all this messages over and over and over again, just so they get in there. And I'm gonna tell you what, we all get into holes. We all fall into a hole. Sometimes we fall into a hole, sometimes we pushed into a hole. The thing is, we don't stay there. We don't get mad if somebody pushes in a hole. We just say, hey, you got a head start. They need to run, but we still don't get mad at them. Because see, what happens with a lot of people, they get into a hole and they'll stay there for a very long time. They'll stay there for years. And you're not a sovereign man if you get into a hole and you stay in there. You're not a sovereign man if you somehow you in that hole, you stay at the bottom. Or the worst thing is you get comfortable there. There's a lot of people, they get into some holes and they get comfortable there and even try to tell themselves, hey, this is a great thing. Not if you're a sovereign man. You get into that hole, the main thing you're going to do is start climbing up. It really, as soon as you get into that hole, and I'm saying as soon as, not wait a few weeks, not chill out, not rest. As soon as you get into that hole, the first thing you need to be thinking about is how to get out of that hole. That's the first thing you need to be thinking about. Even if you can't do it right at that second, you need to be thinking, you know what, I'm in this hole now. What can I do to get out? You got to at least be thinking about it. And I promote thinking. You got to think, oh, wait a minute, I'm in this hole now. What can I do? Because you don't want to wait till tomorrow or next week or something like that. That's how people get caught. They'll say, oh, I'll take care of it tomorrow or I'll do it next week. And then when next week comes, it's like, that's when you start getting comfortable there. And then you in that hole, and then I say after a few months, you just stuck there. That's how a lot of people get stuck. That's how a lot of people have something going on in their lives. And then some bad thing happened, and then they just get stuck. It's terrible. And I've seen this for decades. People just get in that hole, they get stuck, whatever. So the first thing is you got to think about, all right, you got to start thinking about how you're going to get out of that hole and then make a plan to get out of that hole. But whatever you do, you don't want to get comfortable in that hole, because once you get comfortable, like I've been saying, you'll stay in that hole. So what you want to do is start climbing. You want to start climbing, not figuratively, literally, whatever. You want to start climbing. You get in that hole, like say you get in that financial hole. Yeah, you got all this money. It's like you ain't making the same money. You lose that job or your business goes under, whatever. It's like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Like say the most common way is if somebody get laid off their job, or some jobs they just closed. Because I know of businesses in this area that have just simply closed. I know of a big business now, they closing a location in this area. Okay, now if I was still working at that particular business, I'm thinking, okay, where can I work? I'm already started looking for another job or something. You start thinking about what can you do? Now, I always tell the story of when I had to get some money. I had to get more money. My business wasn't bringing in enough money. And I put on some clothes and I actually hit the pavement to look for a job. But I came back that day with 2 jobs. I was in a hole. I had to start climbing out. I was like immediately, it's like, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to take it. 2 jobs. Because as you climbing, as you getting closer to the top, you'll see some stuff will start opening up for you. But you got to make that move first. That's the thing. You got to make that move first. And then stuff will start opening up for you. Indeed, sometimes something even better that puts you in the hole to begin with will open up for you. But that's not going to happen if you just get stuck there, or you're like, woe is me and everything. Like I said, I know of a big business around, a big store, a big part of a chain that's closing in a few months. I just found out. And I'm just like, wow. And I'm not working there anymore. In fact, a lady friend was saying, well, how do you feel about that? I was like, well, not working there anyway. Now, hypothetically, if I was working there, like I said, I'd be looking for another job. I'd start right then at that moment. I wouldn't wait till the last second. I'd start looking. I was like, I ain't waiting for y'all. I already know what's going to happen here. You know, I ain't even going to get in that hole. But hypothetically, if I got in that hole where I didn't have a job, what would I be doing? Okay, it closed one day. The next day, I'm started looking for something else. Hypothetically. Look, you don't get comfortable in that hole. That's the worst thing. You get thrown down. Like it's no shame to be thrown down. It's no shame to fall. We all do it. Anybody who say they haven't done it, they lying. We've all fell at one point. We've all been in a situation that we didn't like. But the thing is, you got to adapt and say, okay, how can I make this better? How can I grow to a higher level? And then you just start climbing. You start climbing. And especially as a sovereign man. As a sovereign man, shoot, you got control over your life. One thing you got control over is being able to go out and look for whatever new you got to look at. And it could be anything. I mentioned a job. It could be a relationship. Let's be real. Many of us have been in relationships where it might have felt like bottom. Yeah, especially as a man. You had that woman. She was fine. She was everything. All of a sudden you found out, hey, it's over for whatever reason. You know, and many guys will feel bad because of it and stuff. Okay. First of all, in that situation, that could be a hole. First of all, look at how you got in that hole. So you don't be thrown in that hole again, and then you climb up. You do better. Even if it is a relationship, you do better. You say, you know what, I gotta get a better woman this time. You know? I gotta learn. I can't make the same mistakes. You know, and then, you know, as you climb out of that hole, one of the things you got to think is you can't be thrown back in that hole at least the same way. It might be something else that come up later on that throw you in that hole, that put you there. Something else later on. Okay, fine. If that happens, fine. But it has to be something else. The worst thing is to get thrown in the same way, because one thing, if you get thrown in that hole, that is a learning experience. You have to learn from it so it doesn't happen again. I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to really think about that, because this happens to us all. This happens, there's no shame. I have no shame in saying this has happened to me. I've been thrown in some holes, but I climbed out of them. As a sovereign man, that's one of the things that's going to set you apart. Yeah, you got thrown in that hole, but as soon as you get down there, you getting back up on your feet and you climbing back up, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Whatever hole, if you're in a hole now, trust me, start climbing. Just start climbing, okay? And you will get out of it and learn the lesson so you don't get thrown in again, okay? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Keep rising to become the sovereign man that you are meant to be. Peace and blessings.